Hey, welcome to the next quick video series on ActiveDR. Let's get started. So first thing I'm going to do is log into my source array. And for this example, I'll have two arrays, so I'll also log into my target array called flash array 2. Alright, now that I'm logged in, I'm going to go back to my source array, and I first want to establish the connection, the replication connection. So I'll use the fully qualified domain name of the target array here. I'm going to go ahead and go to the array area, get my connection key, copy that, back to the source, throw the connection key in, and establish that replication connection. It's that quick and easy, assuming that, the replication physical networking is in place. Okay, so now you can see that I'm connected to my source and target. If we look from the target array, I'll refresh and you'll see that it's connected there as well. So far so good. All right, so the next thing we want to do is go look at our pods on our source array. We don't currently have any, so I'm going to go ahead and create a pod. And I do have a host and volume that we're going to use for this example. And so after I create this pod, I'm going to go ahead and go into that pod and add my Windows volume that I have here. So we'll go to volumes, move in, and I'll select the Windows volume that's actually connected to this host machine. Alright, so now that I've added that in, I want to now add a replica link, and this is what's new in ActiveDR. So I'll go ahead and create that. You can see my pods there. I'll select my target array. Now I don't currently have a remote pod, so I can actually create it directly from the source. So I'm going to just throw a -dr on the end of that one and create. All right, cool. Now you can see it's baselining, so it's establishing that initial synchronization. And if we jump over to the target, you can see that if we go to the protection and ActiveDR section, it's currently replicating. So now let's jump into the storage section and the volumes. And you're going to see that the volume that we initially moved into that replicated pod is now available on the target. So if we go into there, we do have to connect our host. So what we're going to do is move the Windows host that we had in on the second array. And then now I want to go in and actually configure my iSCSI settings so that I can connect to this target array from the same host. So essentially I'll be connected to the source array and the target array from the host that you're looking at here. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and jump in and launch my initiator. Do a quick connect here to the target. So it's flash array 2. Okay, there it is, done. And we can see now that our IQN's in place. All right, so if we minimize all this and we go look at our connections in the target array, you can see that our Windows host has a single connection in through iSCSI. All right, good deal. So if we open up Explorer, actually disk management, that was a shortcut to get there, but you can see that the new disk or the new volume is currently offline, but it is presented, and that's intentional. So the entire purpose of this, again, is for DR. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open up the volume that's on the source array. I'm going to open this file, and I'm actually just going to add some text to this file. And so we'll add text, we'll go ahead and save it, and then you're going to see that it's going to replicate that change over to the volume that's in the replica pod. Okay, so if we go ahead and go look at our target array, the ActiveDR, it's replicating. Okay, But if you notice, this pod or this replica link is in a demoted state. So that means it's the secondary or the standby. So if I want to just test my DR, I can go ahead and manually promote this from the target. Once I promote it, I can go back into my disk management. You can see it's promoted there. But I'll jump back into my disk management, and I'm just going to simply bring this volume online, which will get, a new drive letter. So this is just for testing this. And then I'm going to go look at that drive E. Okay, so this was my source, the E's the target, and we open that file and it got replicated. Okay, so our DR test with near sync using ActiveDR was successful. Now, something to note, if I make changes to this file while it's in this test state, okay, that data is not going to get replicated back. Okay, so we want to only use this scenario where we have both drives in a promoted state and basically presented to the host just for testing the DR. So right now what I'm going to do is go ahead and demote this volume. And what it does is it will take a snapshot of the contents and save that snapshot for later use in case I needed something out of it. And the way that I can see that is if I jump back to the pods, you're going to see this little drop down here that shows those destroyed pods, and I could copy that back out to a volume and get the contents. For this use case, I don't need that. It was just simply a test. I'm going to go ahead and eradicate the pod, or the backup of the pod, the snap. Okay. So if we go back in, we can see now that only the D drive's there. That's our original text, our production text, okay, in that file. Nothing's changed there. I'm going to go back to my source array. And I want to simulate a failure. So what I'm going to do is go into this Windows volume on the source. And I'm just going to disconnect the host to simulate that failure. All right, so now I should be able to see in Disk Manager, if I refresh this or rescan, that drive's gone. Drive D's gone. No longer presented. Okay. In this scenario, if we lost that array, I could simply go into either the source or the target. Okay, I'm kind of assuming that the source is still available. And I could demote and promote. Okay, so demote from the source side. If I want to quiesce any uncommitted writes, I could do that. If I don't want to, I could skip the quiesce, but we'll go ahead and quiesce. There were uncommitted writes. It will wait for that to commit to the volume locally and then do the replication and demotion. So now on the target array, I'm going to go and it's going to still show demoted. I'm going to take this one up and promote it. So this is now the active volume that should be getting all reads and writes and treated as the source of truth. So now it's promoted. We're going to just jump back into our disk manager, and I'm going to bring it online. So this now takes the place of that D drive for the production workloads in the case of that failure. Okay, so if we go look at it, it should look exactly like our production file. Go in, my data, there it is. Okay. So that's a quick, down dirty example of the new near sync capabilities with ActiveDR. Make it super easy for you to have built-in data recovery, disaster recovery. Thanks for watching.